Hey there, bonjour, Derek Bartolacelli. Just had a really interesting, just it just clicks sometimes, when you want to articulate something and you kind of like know these things, deep within your soul, or your psyche, or your consciousness, or your subconsciousness, or yeah, uh, interesting. Spider crawling up pretty fast there on the. Anyways, distractions as always. You gotta love it. We're doing it live and direct, all the time, off the cuff. But yeah, I just wanted to, get this thought off my chest in regards to hermetic health, Natural law, the seven hermetic principles. We can throw in the eighth for sure, the lost principle of care, the generative principle. But yeah, just so in health terms, right? I want you to kind of meditate on these things and take it deep within yourself in a sense, or build off of and recall all the research that you've done already in regards to so the first cosmic law principle, cosmic law, natural law, universal law, same thing. Hermetic principles, hermetically sealed, immutable, non-man-made. It's not like an opinion, really. This is just my take on how this can apply to our lives and how it can empower us as well and keep us healthy for sure. So yeah, it's all about our state of mind. If we're in some kind of doubt or uncertainty about ourselves and our health and what's out there, especially in regards to the Rona stuff and all that stuff, and you think humans are the enemy now or something like that, it's not going to be a good state of mind for you. And an unhealthy state of mind can manifest unhealthy symptoms in the body. It's just a fact, So yeah, mentalism is the first cosmic law. All is mind. So you really have to have that first and foremost. That's the first principle, right? Going in like a traditional order in a sense. I mean, it's not like set in stone, some of these things, but the number one is pretty much. But law of correspondence, principle number two. As above, so below, right? We take this into the terrain theory in regards to the environment outside of us, but the environment within us as well. We have how many trillions of cells, bacteria, viruses, all this stuff. Whatever people call viruses, I feel like it's just been it's a misconception almost, and we can talk about ribosomes, exosomes, and all that stuff, and how they seem to be there at the scene of the crime, but they didn't necessarily commit the crime of causing the dis-ease, right? It's more to the effect of being the firefighters that you see, at the side of the fire. Well, if there wasn't any fire, there wouldn't be the firefighters. If you get what I mean. So yeah, we have to take care of our own house first and foremost, but we also have to be wary of the outside environments and the dangers, and all this stuff. I just say caution. These words are so triggered and programmed into people in a lot of ways. Oh, it's a dangerous world out there. Yeah, but yeah, you got to be wary of poisonous plants and animals and insects and man-made stuff as well. And one of those ways is all the pseudo-pharmaceutical stuff, but also kind of like how a mosquito gives us malaria and a host of other issues sometimes. Well, what kind of needles has man-made that kind of do the same thing? And yeah, there's been GMO mosquitoes and all this Zika crap as well. I'm just kind of stick to the overall concepts, not the details, right? So all right, the principle of polarity. Sometimes it escapes my mind sometimes. It's like I'm polarized to not talk about polarity. But yeah, have you noticed that people are so polarized with, all these isms and dialectics? Anyways. Might be healthy to kind of, I wouldn't say stay neutral, but, don't fall into these traps of, anyways. Yeah, law of polarity. When we think in terms of energy, in regards to temperature, we have like the absence of warmth. If it's cold, you can see it that way. We're just so enthusiastic about this one. I get to do these things for free. What I wanted to mention is that a good friend of mine, Odie, went to San Diego State University for a little bit. He was getting his kinesiology certificate degree, and he had some really good courses on nutrition. And for over a decade, I remember him, saying how, what we consume on a daily basis, we could kind of, if we really want to formulate our health, and like keep track of it in a sense, in a very simple way. I mean, it's complicated, to figure out what exactly is, going to be beneficial for us or not. I wouldn't say complicated, it just takes time to learn these things, right? But so yeah, we have to understand, what is going to be a positive for our body and what is going to be a negative. And then we tally those up throughout the day and, do the simple math and see what the result is, Are we coming out on the negative or the positive, Did that person who had a hangover have one too many, or just, what I've noticed for me sometimes, because sometimes I'll get a hangover just after a couple beers, but I know exactly why. It's either because I, didn't eat that much, or I ate, a decent amount, but really junk food, That's not going to hold the liquor, pretty much. And, your liver will not thank you in the next day. Yeah, I mean, if I had those 3 beers, but I ate good food and drank a good amount of water, I wouldn't have had that hangover, pretty much, But, yeah, I wouldn't have had a hangover if I didn't touch a single drop of the beer. Yeah, we know, we get that, yeah. But hey, that's my personal choice. I'm my own human being. I own my body. I take responsibility for my actions and hold myself accountable as well. And it's really also in regards to holding yourself accountable and not causing harm to other people. So if what I'm doing is not causing harm to anybody else, then, nobody should have a fucking problem with it. And if they do, then, they got their own fucking problems. In the mind, because they haven't gotten out of those mental blockages, Too many head cage programs to shake a stick at, The principle of rhythm, How consistent are we being in our life in regards to, just being able to observe and feel the ebbs and flows and how that goes within our being, and obviously the collective consciousness that's around us all the time. Not everyone lives like a recluse hermit, so there's going to be people in our daily lives that have an effect on our attitudes and just physical being, even, or whatever, so yeah. We have to find that, and I always bring these two hand in hand, kind of, the principle of vibration as well, to have a good attitude and, the good vibes, right? If we want to, and that stems from the mind state, obviously. And that's kind of going to help guide our rhythm to life in a sense, So, yeah, there's also I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's like a chart of high vibe foods and low vibe foods, right? And that seems to be pretty aligned or parallel to acidic and alkaline foods as well. Acidic being the low vibe, this and that. So yeah, and it kind of goes up the color spectrum in regards to the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. As in the the chakra, going from the bottom to the top. So yeah, the Kundalini rising, right? It starts at a denser vibration, then goes up into a higher frequency, right? We look at the law of assimilation in regards to the chain of like the source of food. Where does it all come from? Photosynthesis, right? If there wasn't a sun, what would we be? Where would we be? Right? That's why there exists people that do the breatharian life or whatever, diet, whatever. They probably do a good amount of sun gazing, and for that specific reason, but not to get into specifics, like I said. So cause and effect. We really have to understand the causality in regards to how it affects us and others. Karmic law, if you will. Consequences, holisms. Just kidding. It's kind of like the diagnostics. When we're trying to analyze a problem, the diagnosis, the way to knowledge, and how we understand the problem from the root cause, so we can really resolve it, dissolve it, solve it. I like playing on words. So yeah, cause and effect, live and direct, and the law of gender, and it goes. We're gonna, stem that to the brain stem in regards to mentalism, and how there's the two hemispheres of the brain, masculine and feminine side. One is more externalizing, and one is more internal. And if that is imbalanced, what do you think is going to happen? Either to the right side or the left side, If we're thinking way too over logically and, and all this stuff, that's been referred to as like the master think. And if we're too much on the right side, which is what a lot of New Age cage stuff peddles, we're going to be in the slave think, a little too passive and too much in our feels and not, really using the sword of intellect that is from the left part of the brain, It is that masculine energy. If you guys are into tarot, you guys know exactly what that's about with the swords. Yeah. We got to learn how to wield these, tools. I was going to say weapons, but they're all just tools, right? So yeah, anything can be used as a weapon pretty much, right? Including speech. Have you noticed what the CIA's done with that? And anyways, yeah. So overall, how much do you care about yourself to want to live a healthy life? That's the overall encompassing lost principle and it's lost because not that many people fucking care, or they might just give lip service to it, or do their little virtue signaling. I'm not even familiar with that term. It's like a new thing, you know. I'm out here in France, you know. I don't follow mainstream pop or news and all that stuff, you know, social media shit, you know, all that lingo, the Uberisms, man, fuck them. Anyways, I can trail off too easily, so I'm not gonna make it about that. But you know, I hope you know what I mean. So yeah, it's really all about what are you evoking within the depths of your soul to really manifest for the good, for yourself, your family, your friends, this planet, life upon it, you know. If you don't have your health, what do you have? You ask yourself that? I've gone through the gauntlet of, you know, overcoming so much pain, physical pain, in regards to health, you know, accidents, you know, operations, eczema and stuff like that. But yeah, try to speak to your body a little bit more, you know, understand what it exactly needs, and if it's, you know, balanced or not, if it's over acidic or not, you know, if it's hydrated enough, are we getting enough minerals, especially in regards to things like magnesium, which, you know, there's a epidemic of deficiency in people, apparently, you know. Same with iodine, which, you know, goes directly to the, you know, issue with a lot of people having thyroid problems. You know, there's the fluoride and the chlorine and the bromide that come in dozens and dozens of different forms, and they're toxic to the body. The thyroid thinks that it's, you know, getting its supplement of iodine, but it's on the same parallel or vertical section of the periodic table of elements, and it's like that for a reason. And I guess they have certain, you know, chemical makeups, if you will, you know, the atoms and all that, that they're kind of like imposters to the body, and when the body thinks it's iodine, but it's not. So yeah, that's something to really consider. Those three elements that are not too good, and they're found in our water. Chlorine and fluoride specifically, and bromide is in all types of bread and fire retardants and stuff, not just food, but yeah, anyways. Yeah, we understand ourselves more, and we realize, like, how come this wasn't even taught in the medical schools, and doctors really don't talk about this stuff, you know? They used to, and there are still some, for sure, yeah. Wouldn't say some, more, but, you know, they're so overshadowed by this allopathic overtaking that's been happening over the past century, you know. Look into, you know, Rockefeller medicine, the snake oil salesman, doctoring the data, you know, all these things. It's another aspect directly, you know, correlating to health. In the health world, and some of the symbolism you've seen in regards to the caduceus, you know, it's the two snakes intertwining, you know, alongside a single rod in the middle, and yeah, that represents male and female aspects of the medical world, like the allopathic and the homeopathic. And yeah, the medical world has been quite imbalanced in regards to the allopathic side of things, the overly egg-headed logic side of thinking that's been disconnected to the homeopathic way of well-being. And this has been a problem for a long time, for over a century. And this is readily seen in regards to occult symbolism, where a lot of pharmacies, I've seen plenty in France, where they have, you know, the symbol, a rod, but only with one snake. and the snake's head is on the right side. Left side. So that tells you right there, there's the imbalance towards the left brain, over logic, rigid. That becomes not just science, but scientism. It becomes a dogmatic belief system. Imbalanced one, So yeah, that's the allopathic side of medicine, or healthcare, I guess, which seems like a misnomer. Healthcare seems more like sick care, right? Yeah, the Center of Disease Control, the CDC, or is it more like the Center of Deception Control, right? So yeah, there's the imbalance of the homeopathic side as well. People think they're just gonna meditate all their problems away with their crystals and incense and this and that, and when no, actually, in fact, we can, find benefits from the allopathic side of medicine, for sure. But we have to, choose wisely, which doctors are legitimate. And let's say, for example, we do take some antibiotics for a dire health situation. We need to understand that we need to supplement our body with a lot of probiotics. And I've had experience with this in my life, and I did a good amount of research into, what kind of foods that I can make myself or you can get at the store that are rich in probiotics, right? And it's good to have a wide variety, right? So that way you can rebuild that gut flora bacteria that has been, destroyed by the antibiotics, right? So, yeah, keep it balanced, nice in harmony, centered, healthy, holistic. That's part of the logistics.
So, when we perceive the ways of nature, we remove conflict within ourselves and discover a harmony of body and mind in accord with the flow of the universe.